James, because I fear I may otherwise stray too far afield from the essence of what I'd like to say in response to your video on negative atheism, I've uncustomarily chosen to read aloud already prepared remarks. Now, I detect in your defense and explanation of a negative atheist as a person who has not been compelled to believe in God an underlying assumption concerning the psychological, or if you will, psycho-spiritual constitution of the human person, as well as the constitution or physical makeup of the natural world we are supposed to belong to and are capable nonetheless of knowing and technologically designing. Most atheists would probably agree with me that human consciousness evolves, but most would probably see in the temporal relation between the religious and scientific modes of consciousness only a stepwise improvement from the former to the latter due to the accumulation of more accurate or at least more reasonable beliefs about nature. I'm forced to disagree. The scientific mentality, contrary to the usual assumptions, is not so much a reaction against as an intensification of Christian monotheism and incarnationalism. This last claim undoubtedly sounds strange to many atheists, as to say, as to any reasonable humanist, it should be clear that belief without evidence, as religion is said to promote, is not only folly, but morally irresponsible. Science learns from religion, it is often said, that the human mind is prone to project the meanings of its language upon the matter of the external world. But let us look again at religious consciousness. Is it really, for the genuinely religious person, a question of correct belief about reality when they kneel to pray, or bow before the setting sun in reverence for the secret wisdom hidden behind the world of sensory appearances? Is all religious symbolism, as many atheists claim, a record of humanity's failed attempts to correctly represent the blind and capricious forces of nature? Or is this to mistake religious consciousness for an epistemological mode of inquiry proper only to science? I said earlier that science is a further intensification of the Christian incarnational consciousness. Christianity is an unstable but creative marriage of Hebrew and Greek consciousness. Both of these traditions found themselves opposed to the animistic polytheism of the cultures surrounding them at that time. The Greek mind strove to understand the rational forms underlying sensory phenomena, thereby abstracting the meaning from the things, or the mana from nature, collecting all of it into the human soul. This evacuation of soul life from nature into the formalisms of the human mind was not completed until Descartes articulated the cogito in the 17th century. For the ancient Greeks and Hebrews, God was the all-knowing, all-powerful creator of the phenomenal world. Or at least for the Greeks, all-knowing, for the Hebrews, all-powerful. For modern scientific consciousness, which is, I'm suggesting, developed out of the Christian, and so synthesized the all-knowing divinity of the Greeks with the all-powerful divinity, Yahweh, of the Hebrews. For modern scientific consciousness, the world is created by the representations of my ego, an ego compelled by common decency to support its thoughts about reality with evidence and reason. But nonetheless, when we modern rational people say, I believe the world is thus, or I believe God does or does not exist, we make of ourselves a God, whose private thoughts shape the nature of reality. You may, of course, counter that some beliefs about the world can be tested and refuted, because after all, the world exists independent of our beliefs about it, external to human experience. It remains undeniably true, however, that reality shows itself to me and to you only experientially, and in a way accessible to language only as thoughts and beliefs. There is no such thing as a world outside of thought and experience. Granted that some experience is intersubjective. There is no such thing as a world outside of thought and experience. Not for our species, anyway. Scientific consciousness is only possible if the word, or logos, really has become human. Our knowledge and technological mastery over nature is not evidence against divinity, but proof there is an intelligence at work in the universe.